Craitbul was huge, a giant. More than anything, Craitbul wanted to find a place for himself, his wife and 2 sons to live in peace, away from the influence of the evil spirit called war or Tenationa. They lived first at Belita. Craitbul dug the first oven with a kana, yam stick, and his wife gathered roots and roasted them in the oven. The men hunted on the land. Kura, kangaroo, kabi, emu, kurang, snake, were plentiful. They ate well and were very happy. One day they prepared their oven, laid the roots on the hot stones, covered them with earth and went to rest. As always, Craitbul stood with his spear and watched over his family as they prepared to sleep. During the night, though, they were awakened by the calling of a bird, Bullen. Rah! Rah! In great fear, they fled their campsite at Belita, believing this call to be a warning sign. They travelled southeast and made their next camp at Perrine, Mount Shank, South Australia. They were sure the evil spirit would not be able to find them here. They confidently constructed their whirlers and built their second oven and began to enjoy living on country. Hunting was good. Kila, crayfish, tarto, fish from Narunga, kuya, eel from the Luang waterhole. However, one night, when the oven was empty and the family was settling down to rest, the voice of the Bullen came again, causing them to flee in fear. They decided this time to set up camp inland, away from Narunga, Port Macdonald, and the sea. They believed that the evil spirit could not exist far away from the sea, so they travelled to Berrin, Mount Gambier, and made their camp. The first oven they made at Berrin was Wawa. This oven was big and worked well for some time. But one day, water came up from the bottom of it and put out their fire. Craitbul was furious. He threw rocks. He screamed. The second oven was Jacquelin-Furr. This oven worked well too, but then water came up from the bottom and put out the fire. Craitbul was furious. He threw rocks and he screamed. The third oven was Ketlamalpi. This worked well, but then water came up from the bottom and put out the fire. Craitbul again was furious. He threw rocks, he raged and screamed and stamped his feet. The fourth and final oven Craitbul dug was Croaratwari. It worked well, but then, as before, water came up from the bottom and put out the fire. Craitbul was mad. He was furious. He threw rocks, he raged and he screamed. Craitbul told his family that he would make no more ovens. That was it. They climbed the peak and made their home in a cave right at the top of the mountain. When their time came to go, Craitbul hit his spear on the ground and the spear extended. The family sat upon the spear. Craitbul sat on the end, his wife sat in the point, and the 2 sons sat between them. The spear carried them high into the heavens, where they watch over us still in the night sky. Boandik people use these stars to guide them across land and country. Craitbul's story is a verbal account of the eruption of the volcanoes from Millicent to Mount Shank to Mount Gambier, and shows the Boandik people have been here for many thousands of years. Belita first erupted about 20,000 years ago, Perrine about 10,000 years ago, and Berrin 4,000 years ago. cheered, 1983. This legend is a Boandik creation story. It shows just how long the Aboriginal people of this area have been here. Craitbul's rage when the ovens were put out by the rising water could be a depiction of the rocks and volcanic energy from the eruptions, and show the Boandik were on country to witness the eruptions as well as the rising groundwater that eventually filled the craters.